We all want to save money going into the new year. Today, I'm going to share with you several categories of items that I'm not buying to save money this year and use up what I have. We can all probably look around our house and see things that need used up if we really look. The thing is, we all get busy, we start doing things, we grab the things we always grab, and those things will just sit there lonely and ignored. But this year, I am going to focus on some stuff that I know has been sitting around here and it needs used up. And there's just no point in me spending good money buying more things when I have things that need used. Just to give you an idea of how much stuff we can have and not even realize it, that is actually an asset in our home and will keep us from putting stuff in the shopping cart. I want to give you a few examples of what I have not purchased over the last 4 years. I haven't purchased any cleaners. The only cleaners I've purchased are bleach, vinegar, I've purchased ammonia, and I purchased a can of Pledge, which, by the way, I found another half can of Pledge after I purchased that one. So I didn't even need that one. That just shows how much stuff we can get shoved into cabinets, not even realize what we have, and we can save money there. So 4 years without purchasing cleaners, when cleaners was a normal thing for me to purchase on my shopping list. When I had been decluttering, I found all these packages of cloth napkins that I was only using on Thanksgiving and Christmas. How silly is that? So I pulled those out. We stopped buying paper napkins and we only use paper napkins now if we have more people than I have for the cloth napkins or if we have a picnic. But I have the majority of the paper napkins still here in the house that I started with 4 years ago without buying any. So look around your house with fresh eyes. What do I have hidden in this cabinet? What do I have here? What do I have there? Can I make this stretch or use this instead of buying the next thing? And I hope that you do better than me and actually see if you have another half of a can of Pledge before you buy the new one. So I'm just going to share some random things that I found yesterday just in a once walk through my house. And I thought, oh my gosh, these are great examples of things I shouldn't be buying in 2025. The first thing that I'm going to use up is some cappuccino mix that I made a year ago. I made it, I think I shared it with you guys, I'm not sure. I put it in this decorative little container. I sat it out at the holidays, and I don't think anybody drank it. I told everybody about it. They all said, "Yum, that sounds great." But then in the afternoon, they wanted coffee. And a lot of people do the afternoon coffee thing. My kids will do the afternoon coffee thing when they're here for holidays. And I have never done an afternoon coffee, but when it's really cold, and you can tell it is because I have my hat on today, I thought, I've got that cappuccino mix and no one has drank it. That is something I should be using up and making a point of using in the afternoons when I want something hot to warm myself up from the inside. So that's what I did this afternoon. I added a little marshmallows, a little creamer. Oh my gosh, it really hit the spot. And here it sat there for a year being ignored. The second thing that I'm going to focus on using up is products that I have around the house that have also been ignored. Things like firming creams. I sold Avon and still sell Avon. I've done it since I was 17. And along the line, I would pick up these different products to try. And some of these I just never really used, and they're still good. And so now that I'm of the age that I could use some things like firming cream, I'm going to make a point of using them this year. No one else may be able to tell that I'm using them, but if you saw before and after, I can tell, and that's what makes the difference. So those are going to get used up this year. Another thing is my daughter got me some of this leave-in conditioner. I don't have to use the conditioner in my shower. It works really good on curly, frizzy hair. And I used this a couple of times and I love it now. I'm like, why has this sat there for 11 months? I even took this to Texas with me and brought it back. I'm going to use it. I'm not letting this sit anymore. Some of the other items that I'm not letting sit are things like lip balms. I have a bunch of those. Many of them were free that were given to me at places. I got given one another time last week from an open house when we went in for the Humane Society. They gave us little packets and it had another lip balm in there. I'm making a point of always taking a lip balm with me. Lip balms are one of those things that when you need them, you need them. And when you don't, you totally forget about them. If we have gatherings where I do a lot of talking, my lips get dry. If we travel into a different climate or another state, my lips get dry. So think about using some of those or keeping those with you to use them up rather than going in and grabbing another one and buying another one when we probably have them scattered around our house. I know that I did. When we had a store, we sold so many lip balms and Carmex because people would come in all the time and say, I don't know where mine is. So one lady told me she kept one in 3 places to make sure she always had one. What a smart piece of advice that is. Some of the other things that I'm making a point to use up are some of my lotions. I have not been to Bath and Body Works in so many years, I'm embarrassed to say. But this lotion is still good because I've used it on my legs and I've used it on my hands. But lotion can get weird. It can get weird if it is old. It can get sticky. It can get really pasty and not rub in. It can get weird if it gets too hot or if it gets too cold and freezes. I used to always keep one in my work bag when I traveled back and forth to go to work. And I had to make sure if the weather was too hot or too cold that I brought that work bag in every single night into the house because it would ruin my lotion. I have very little lotion left around the house. I have maybe 1.5 tubes, but I go through it really slow. I don't have really dry skin. I use it more in the winter time, but in the winter, I was in Texas, so I didn't need it. So I need to make a point of using my lotion before it gets weird, as we all know how expensive that stuff is. So I try to keep track of my lotion because I don't want to duplicate buying that. I feel like lotions and candles can really pull me in and I can be tempted to spend money. So that's one of the reasons that I try to use up what I have and I try not to step foot in that Bath and Body Works, even though I love that store, because I will be tempted to backstock these items when I really don't need them. The next thing that I'm using up is some of these great shower steamers. I got these for a Christmas gift from 2 different daughters a couple of years ago. And I've been using them this last year because I used to be the type of person that I would save things like this for a special occasion. It's a shower, Bonita. So I'm down to almost using them all up now and actually getting some use out of a well thought out Christmas gift. And the next category is office supplies. When I decluttered, I put all of my scissors in one place. That has saved me so much time and money. I have so many pairs of scissors. Most people do, and most people are not sure where theirs are. And I was in that category. But I also could not find a pen in this house that worked, and I didn't think we had any that worked. I went through all of my drawers and I got rid of all the ones that didn't work. And we now have a ton of pins that work. I have years and years worth of pins now, and I don't need to buy any. Also needed some glue the other day, and I was able to find one last lonely glue stick so that I don't have to buy any more glue. I have it right where I know where it is this time, and that is something I'm going to use up, and it kept me from buying any more. I also went through all of my highlighters and my markers, and I found a bunch of those that I could use because I do use those now that I have a YouTube channel. Same with notepads and sticky notes and all of those things. I have them all in places where I can find them and use them up now so that I don't have to buy those. That saves me a bunch of money. I haven't had to buy any pens or notepads in probably 2 years. And that is really helpful because those things are expensive, but you can pick them up for really cheap after school sales. Even though I didn't need any, I think I got 2 or 4 notepads this year on the after school sales for like a quarter to just replenish some that I used. The next thing is some of our pastimes. Some of the things we have in our house, like our sewing projects or our craft projects, or for me, a bunch of books that I want to read. I am not going to be buying things for my pastimes. I just recently bought some more embroidery stuff. That'll probably take me through the next couple of years. I already have enough thread, and I'm going to read books. I already have them lined up, things that I have been wanting to read. And so if I want something different other than what I have, I can check it out from the library, but I'm not going to be spending any money on books. Now, if there is something that you want in the book category, like I read the first 2 of a series and I didn't have the third. I've waited for 2 years for the third. And when my daughter asked me what I wanted for Christmas, it's about a $5 book, and I said I could use the third one of that trilogy. So those are good gift ideas to give people if you do want to have a physical book. I prefer a physical book. So that is one of the things that I told her would be great for a Christmas gift for me, and it would be very inexpensive. The next thing, and you knew this one was coming, is food. We have food that has been sitting here a while, and food that sometimes we will forget that we have. Like I bought this quinoa and I made it a couple of times, and I realized the other day that I had forgotten that we had it, and it needs used. We do like it. We probably like rice or potatoes better. I'm going to put that on my radar to work that into some of our meals. Also, I have things like applesauce that I'm not a big fan of. I'm going to start working that into my recipes in the place of oil, since oil is so expensive, and use some of that up. I also have things like canned soups, and I have enough of those now. I can't remember the last time we really ate a can of soup. It's probably been 10 months or so since we've really had a can of soup, and I don't need any more. So I'm going to stop buying some of those extra things and just use up things I have. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to go through my cabinets, see any weird stuff that's just been sitting there for a while, and bring that to the forefront. Take the place of the stuff that we do use. So if I use quinoa, I'm saving my rice, and we like rice. If I'm using quinoa, I'm saving some of my potatoes, and we like potatoes. So I can rotate some of that in, and it'll make the stuff that we like last longer. So those are just a few categories of the things that I'm not going to be buying, that I'm going to start looking at harder this year so that I'm not wasting money or buying things that are just going to sit around and be ignored. Do you have anything in your house that's being ignored? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was thought-provoking for you and maybe brought you some value. If it did, please give me a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next video.